Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Darren Ganji with my good buddy, Sean Cole. And as you can see, we're doing something a little different here today. And what we're doing is, well, we mentioned it on a This Week Inside Sim Racing, and we've had a lot of requests for it. And what we're doing is, as you can see, we've got some lumber back here. We've got Sean the Builder. I was going to call him Farmer Sean, because there's some meat company here in the States called Farmer John. So I was going to call him Farmer Sean because he looks like a farmer, but he's not doing any farming. He's doing some building here today. And what he's going to build, Sean, why don't you hand me the plans that you drew? So Sean did this drawing, which we'll show you a close-up of. But this is the sim rig that he's going to build with a little bit of my assistance. I'm going to be mainly filming and kind of documenting this whole thing. But what we did is we had some lumber laying in under Sean's car, as a matter of fact, right here. And we took that lumber, plus we bought $30 worth of stuff, some screws, a couple more 2x4s from Home Depot. And Sean's going to build this rig. We also had a seat that was from my old wood rig, my original wood rig that I called, what did I call it? Old Faithful.
Yeah.
And we had that seat left over. It needs some cleanup. We're going to bring it out here. You'll see us vacuuming it up here in a little bit. But we're going to roll camera. We got 2 cameras rolling. So we're going to be rolling 2 cameras for this whole thing. And going to capture the whole build. Going to tell you what we use, the materials. We're going to have the plans available for you guys. Actually, I'm messing up the plans here. We're going to have these plans available for you guys. And so you'll be able to build this rig yourself out of wood. You're just going to need to get your own seat. And then when we're all done, we're going to give this rig away to someone local who can come pick it up. So anyway, I think that wraps up our intro here.
I'm ready.
Sean, get on it, man.
Right.
Start building. Safety first, by the way. If you're going to build something at home, make sure you start with safety. We don't want to hear anybody getting hurt because they built this rig and blaming us for it. So put some goggles, safety goggles on, and make sure you don't hurt yourself. So as you can see, Sean is heavily into step 1, and measure twice or 3 times. I don't know if Sean's actually doing that back there, but remember to measure at least twice, cut once, because you don't want to mess up that measurement because you could waste a whole piece of wood. So go ahead, Sean, cut away. So Sean made a template with all the sizes of the piece of wood that he's going to be using, and right now what he's doing is he's going through and just cutting each piece one by one. Again, measuring twice, cutting once, safety goggles, making sure he doesn't get anything in his eyes. And as soon as he's done cutting, we'll see what he's going to do next. As you can see, Sean's got pretty much the frame already cut. And now he's going to just kind of mock it up and see how it goes together. And then I think from there, Sean, what are you going to do after that?
I think we're going to tack the whole subframe with exception to maybe this piece. And I'll explain why. But
So he's going to tack the whole frame together once he gets it
sized up.
And then it's going to make the seat box. Actually, I'm going to take the seat down right now. We've got it up in the rafters here. I'll show you guys a shot of that. And going to take that down, vacuum it up because it's a mess. Got lots of dirt in it. But as you can see, Sean's building up the foot box or the seat box there. That's where the seat's going to sit. Something I mentioned to Sean, since I'm 6'5", looks like it's going to be a little short for me.
It might be.
But he pointed out we could just extend the pedal plate out, or the pedal, Sean's going to end up killing himself here, folks, right on camera. But anyway, actually, I might be okay. So we're going to size it up, get the seat out, and I think Sean's going to start tacking this thing together. So as you can see, Sean has now started tacking that thing together with some wood screws. And we got a 2x4 up front, two 2x4s in the back. And he's pretty much putting together the seat base, which, as you can see, I got down, and man, that thing is nasty. Cobwebs all over it, dust, and about a year and a half, 2 years worth of dirt. But yeah, Sean's moving right along. Sean, you're really going quick on that thing.
Yeah, I am.
I think he's only got about an hour on the build so far, so that just shows you, you got the tools, the know-how, some screws, some wood, a saw. That would be the tools. But we're going to have plans available for you guys in our forum, and you could build these too. Someone asked on our Facebook, why didn't we use CAD? Well, because we don't have CAD. And we're building a wood rig here, so not sure what the difference would be taking a picture from CAD. I guess we could have had exact measurements and it could have been built to scale, but Sean, I think your drawing's working just fine, don't you?
I'm comfortable with the drawing.
All right, so I think it's time for me to clean this seat up, and we're moving right along. Okay, so got the seat down. Sean's got the seat box all built up now. And you gonna keep that piece of profile on there?
No, I'm fixing to remove.
He's fixing to remove that.
Too bad we missed that.
I think someone's calling me out. That was a burnout right next to my Camaro. So, seat's all cleaned up. That thing was nasty. I'm still out of breath from vacuuming it. Shows you how out of shape I am. But anyway, Sean is taking that piece of profile off, and then we're going to be ready to. He's going to be ready to mount the seat rails up. Maybe we should take the seat rails off of the seat. You think maybe attach them first, or just attach? No, just leave them on, huh?
Yeah, we'll see. I think we can. If we can access them, we'll leave them on. If not, we might have to take them off. Yeah.
All right, so going to attach the seat. We're rolling.
I made a little flaw.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Are they uneven?
I went narrow. We'll be all right. I went a little narrower than I would have liked.
You went Panero.
Narrow. Yeah. It's a little.
And what's the old saying, Sean?
Measure
Twice,
Twice,
or,
cut
yeah.
once.
Yep.
I think I cut twice and measured once.
Okay, so we have our first little dilemma here. Remember one of the first things, we got Terry here. Say hi, Terry.
Hi, everyone.
Anyway, one of the first things I mentioned, measure twice, cut once. Sean seemed to have missed a measurement here, as we're showing you here. The seat box is a little narrow for the rails, so it's going to be a tight squeeze right now. So Sean seems to think he's got a fix for it. We'll keep you updated.
Tamiya's extensive lineup of radio-controlled vehicles provides hobbyists with the joy of running exact replicas of their favorite car, tank, or off-road vehicle. Another attraction of these vehicles is their use of high-grade materials such as nylon resin, carbon fiber, and polycarbonate. With precise mechanical systems, the maintenance and adjustment of the various components as well as performance upgrading with optional parts allows for truly competitive racing. For more information about Tamiya, visit us at www.tamiyausa.com.
All right, so Sean made some modifications, as you can see. He moved those two 2x4s out, so now the seat is more centered. Terry's holding it up back there. Terry's doing some Vanna White for us back here too. So now the seat's more centered on those two 2x4s. Now we're gonna drill it, not drill, but cinch it into the 2x4s. And when he's all done, we're gonna have some panels on the side, so not gonna even know that happened. Okay, so they're just measuring things up, doing some last checks. Actually put some pilot holes in the front and have already sunk the two screws in there. Now they're measuring up the back. I think they're gonna have some problems getting to that back hole though. I suggested taking the chair off, but Sean made a good point that the rails are then gonna lose their parallel stiffness. So right now they're just gonna cinch it in and kind of at an angle, and tie the back in, and that seat should be mounted after that. All right, so Sean is now sizing the wheel deck up. The seat is all screwed in, and now he's trying to figure out where he's going to put his wheel deck, and he also needs to figure out how he's going to get in and out of the rig once the wheel deck is in there. So we'll see how it turns out. Looks like he's contemplating right now. Okay, Sean is now sizing up the uprights for the wheel deck, and we spent some time, as you can see from this video, trying to size it up to make sure we could get in and out, because we're gonna try to make it with as little wobble as possible. Sean's going for a no wobble rig, and he is adamant about it. Okay, Sean has now sized up the wheel deck uprights, and he's now cutting, well, he's now measuring twice, right?
Oh yeah.
Cutting once, hopefully, and doing some angle cuts, and yeah, I think it's gonna be beef. Well, we're gonna put it on the rev scale. I'm gonna put it on the rev scale, so we'll see if it's beef. All right, Sean's moving right along. He has now cinched this side in. And as you can hear, he is cinching the other side in as well. So he's got an upright here, has an angle here, and looking to go for no wobble. Can Sean do it? Definitely gonna have a sim rig for under $100. Yeah, because we valued the seat at about 25 because we figured we could probably get one from Pick Apart out of a car for about 25 bucks. And then we had about 50 bucks worth of lumber, and then we bought $30 worth of stuff. So, and we're gonna have lots of screws left over for a future project. So as you can see, Sean's almost done. Sean's almost done tacking in the wheel deck uprights. What's next, Sean? Wheel deck?
I think we might need to move into the pedal area and then the wheel deck.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure we were working around the uprights when we worked on the pedal area.
There you have it. Okay, Sean is now cutting some heavy-duty particle board. It's going to act as the deck for our pedal and our wheel. Right now he's working on the pedal deck, but he's measured, marked, and now is going to cut. So you guys are cutting how many of those? 4?
3.
Exactly 3 will fit. Should be just enough.
Oh, so we're basically making a flooring for that. So 3 of those pieces are going to fit on the floor there, and butt them up next to it. And what that's going to do? That's going to create some rigidity in the rig, and not only that, it's going to create a little floor for us. So that'll be nice. And you're going to see how the pedals fit from there. We may extend the pedals out, but not sure until we put that pedal deck, and then we can just drill and mount the pedals right to the floors. All right, so they've got the pieces in place now. They want me to come sit in it and see how I fit. Got the pedals sitting in there too. I'm gonna have to have them a little bit further out. Hell yeah!
You remember this rig, Darren?
This is way better than the rig that we made. So the guys got it back up on the table, and now we're going to install the foot plates, or the floor. And basically it's about an inch thick MDF board, and just happened to fit pretty good in there, 3 pieces of it. So there's going to be a seam. If we wanted to, we could put another flat piece of plywood over that. But Sean's now tying in an extra cross brace, give it some more stability for the floor. And then they're going to cinch in the 3 planks. I gotta tell you, so we built this, Terry and I actually built a wood rig many, many years ago. Sean actually helped me with it later. Yeah, and it didn't look anything like this one. This one's looking pretty cool for an under $100 rig. All right. What do you think? It's getting pretty close. So Sean has now done the uprights, and all the planks are in for the deck, for the foot deck. And we're not sure what we're going to do with the pedals, but we think we can just either drill them in or just set them there, or even put a bumper in the back to stop them. And now he's going to install the wheel deck. So basically going to do 3 1-bys for like a frame, and then put a piece of that same stuff that we use for the foot deck. That'll be our wheel deck. See how it comes out. Okay, so Sean's got the wheel deck cut now, and we've got the T500 actually mounted to it just with the clamp, just to get an idea of how it's gonna sit on there. Terry's holding it in place, and they're gonna just kind of mark it by eye, really. We're not gonna measure it as much as just place it and make sure it's in the right place. So that's what they're doing right now. Sean's then gonna build the 1x box around it, or the frame, ready to mount. And this thing's almost done, at least this far. And for like me, when I built my first rig, that's as far as it's gonna get. But we're gonna actually paint this thing and finish it, maybe to match our set, since we have some of that gray and black paint. So, what do you guys think? Gray and black?
Yeah.
It'll match the seat.
Yeah.
Gray and black it is. So the guys are sizing up the wheel deck now. They've got the structure made. All 3 1x1s are tied to the deck. Looks like Sean's going to drill a hole about now. Yep. Looks like they're kind of doing this by eye. Got a C-clamp on one side. So it looks like they're just tying it in with one wood screw to start. All right, so one side's on there. Going to tie it in with the other, with a wood screw on the other side. Check how level this is. Going to drill a hole on the other side, cinch it in with another wood screw, and that deck will almost be in. So after the wheel deck, going to mount everything in place and see how it fits, and go from there. So we all sized it up. We like the position. Sean's now drilling the second holes to tie it up a little bit more. Are we going to go 3 screws or just 2 on each side?
Well, I think we'll go 3.
3 screws on each side on the deck.
What do you think, Eric?
Got to tell you, sitting in that thing is pretty freaking stable. We're just about done with this thing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, this thing's going to be in the studio, painted up and finished, because all that's left is cosmetic work. I'm going to do that, do some testing, and we'll see you in the studio.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. The GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome back to the show, and as you can see, we're back in the studio, and it's actually been a few days since we filmed the last portion.
We're all cleaned up.
Definitely. Sean's no longer in his overalls, so I can't call him Farmer Sean anymore or Builder Sean. So we had to paint it. Actually, 2 coats of paint, and had to let it dry. So it sat outside for a day or two. Actually, had to keep taking it in and out because we didn't want it to get wet overnight. And brought it in, stickered it up. As you can see here, we have some nice racing style stickers on this. And let's talk about build time first,
Okay.
Sean. Let's talk about the planning. How many hours in planning?
We put a good 3.5 hours into just planning the rig. That was making the drawings, deciding on the concept, and then another hour getting things we needed.
Speaking of things we needed, we showed you the receipt earlier. We spent $30, but we didn't actually use all that.
I bought brackets that I didn't need, bought way too many screws.
Better more than not enough, because
Yeah.
we'll use those screws on a future build, I'm sure.
Yeah, but we definitely went minimalistic on it.
Definitely. And as far as the materials that we already had, like we said, we had some wood sitting under Sean's car, and that totaled maybe, we guessed, $20, $30 worth of wood.
Yeah.
Plus we also had the seat, plus we already had the paint. We figure the seat you could get for $50 tops at a junkyard.
Yeah.
Maybe not one like it as nice as this, but find a car that's got some kind of nice bucket seat in it, like a Corolla.
Yeah, I mean, I know guys who've gone to the junkyard and got a seat for $25, $30, so, you can go pretty cheap.
Yep. And build time. How many hours do you think it took us? What was it, about 4?
4.5 hours with a really good plan, so that made it easier. And then another hour and a half in paint and finish, but I easily could put another, 3 hours maybe for this.
We didn't do any hole filling, any Bondo work here, so it's very raw. There was like a big knot here in this upright. We definitely could have filled the holes here, filled this gap. We could have done some sanding.
Yeah, little angle here would have been kind of
Yeah, we talked
nice.
about a bunch of different things, and we'll get to the pros and cons later of this rig. We're going to rev scale this just like we would any other rig.
Yeah.
And so besides the 4 hours of build, was there any other time we had in it? I think it was just discussion and planning in that middle of 4 hours. I mean, that 4 hours was actually more like about 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Between breaks for food and stuff like that. Terry's burnout.
Well, and you'll see moments where we're just kind of holding things in place, and that planning, that taking the time to make sure you're confident in your plan goes a long way. If you just start putting it together, you're going to get one result. But I think all the planning we did really did pay off, both in making it easier to build and also coming out the way it did. I'm pretty proud of it.
So let's get to the pros and cons. Oh, wait a second. We didn't tell them the name of this thing. Originally, I called it Woody, which doesn't really fit. As we were building it, I said this thing kind of looked like the car from Animal House that they built at the end, and then we couldn't think of the name. Sean remembers it said "Eat Me" on it, but I recall it being called the Deathmobile. If I'm
Right.
wrong, post it here in our comments. But so we call it the Deathmobile since it's black and very raw,
It has that ominous look about it. That's for sure.
and the built in the garage look. So let's go over the pros and cons. First pro. This thing is built like a tank. I can't even get this wheel deck to really even move. Yeah, the wheel's moving on it. We didn't actually hard mount it because we're gonna leave it for the next person. But we just got it mounted with the Thrustmaster clamp. But man, this thing is solid as a rock. 2x4s for the uprights. All we used was wood screws here to fasten it, but just the way that we angled everything and put it together.
I was prepared to have extra brace in here, but we didn't even need it. It's so rigid.
Yep.
Another pro is the price. This thing is really cheap. We came in somewhere between $75 and $100 max, and it's a lot of rig for that kind of money.
Yeah, depending on the seat. I mean, if this original seat was about $150 that I bought it for. So that would have put your cost at right around $200 if you wanted to get a nicer seat with all the wood from scratch, paint from scratch. You're looking at probably about $200. Next pro, compatibility. This thing will work with any wheel and pedal set. You can drill it. We didn't do a raked pedal plate, but we definitely could have created some kind of pedal box to rake it.
That would have been easy.
Yep, and I don't think we would have even added much more wood for that.
No,
So, yeah, pretty much fits anything on the market.
absolutely. Another pro is the durability. I mean, when it's this stiff, it's going to last, and this thing is definitely built strong.
Unless it caught on fire.
That- yeah.
Thing's gonna last forever. It is wood. So next pro, you could probably tell from the first half of this video, which I hope you enjoyed, because we really had a good time building this thing. And that was one of the fun things and pros about this was, you saw Terry came over, I got involved, Sean had a good time. We just had a good time building this. And when you're building this for your hobby, it's fun. I built my original rig, the one we called Old Faithful, and had fun doing that one, and we had a great time, man. You know, have your friends over, drink a few beers, whatever, have some sodas, whatever you guys do, and build a rig. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And that kind of goes to the next one, which is just that pride in building your own rig. So it's an accomplishment, and it's sort of a love affair with the rig you build, you know, and kind of maybe break a knuckle and bleed on, who knows.
Yeah, exactly. And the next thing, ability to add things onto it. Since it is wood, you could add metal, you could add anything you want to this thing because it is a wood rig. It really gives you the adaptability to do anything you want to it over time.
Definitely. Okay, well that pretty much does it for the pros.
Yep.
Should we move on to the cons? And okay, when we started building it, there were some comments that it's really ugly, and I have to take offense. As the builder, I started to take offense to it. It is ugly.
It is pretty ugly. It's the Deathmobile, you know. But again, we could have done a lot. You know, we were talking about adding a panel here. We actually had some sheets of just, you know, thin plywood, and we talked about shaving this down and adding a piece of plywood there, and adding a piece of plywood here, and we could have done that. And actually, maybe even enclosed one whole side, and maybe added one in front. But that would have taken more time. We wanted to get this thing in action. Actually, and Terry and Sean were like, no, it looks kind of cool like that. And I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. So we left it as is. But again, we could have done a lot more things to make it look nicer. But it's definitely
ugly duckling.
Rough around the edges, which is con number 2. This thing's rough, man. We didn't sand it at all. Actually, the upright over on the other side has some like bubbling on it a little bit, so it's real rough right there. Got a drip mark, a little drip coming off here. We got the knot, but you know what? It's ours, man. We built this thing from the ground up, from scratch, from Sean's drawing, and Sean did a great job, in my opinion. I would be happy to run this as my rig if I didn't already have this beast sitting behind me.
I completely agree. Another con is the lack of adjustability. So we do have a seat that moves, and that's nice, and it reclines, but our pedals right now are fixed, and it would take me some drilling to remount them for you. Our pedal angle is predetermined both in height and angle.
Wheel deck.
Wheel deck, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. The wheel deck
I did it too.
But, you know, if...
And the wheel deck's a little low for me.
Yeah.
Something that could easily be fixed by, you know, taking out these screws here, moving it up a couple inches.
Give me an hour, I can adjust it for you.
Yeah, easily could do that. So next one, no pedal rake, but again, something that we could have easily adapted and created a little, you know, one by we could have put on it, something to add some rake to those pedals. So
yeah,
that's just something that we just didn't build into it. But yeah, no pedal rake on it, and really kind of a lack of pedal adjustability. Lots of room, and when we created lots of space, so you can definitely fit a wide pedal base in there. But as far as the rake goes, no rake adjustability.
And that kind of leads to the next one, or similar, but we don't have like a shifter mount or a keyboard holder or any monitor stands. And part of it was time restraints. But one of the beauties of working with wood is, give me an hour and I'll make a shifter mount. So
yeah, and you know what? Usually we don't like attaching monitor stands to a rig. This thing's so solid where I would attach a monitor stand to it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's another reason why we pulled this. Actually was the perfect size. If you can see Sean's head level next to that monitor was a perfect size for that monitor right there. So that's going to take us to the rev scale. And Sean, why don't you do the honors since you were the builder Sean on this?
I'm biased. I want to give it a 10.
I know, I did too, kind of, but
I cannot in a clear conscience give it a 10. I love what we've done. I love the pace and the fun that we had, but comparing it to some of the outstanding rigs that we've tested, I give it...
And seeing out there too that people have built from wood and stuff like that.
I give it an 8.
Yep. That's funny. We both said today, so what are we going to give it? And Sean says to me, and I'm like, Well, I was thinking an 8, and Sean's like, oh, me too. So we both came to an 8 on it.
I am convinced that if we gave me one more day to clean it up, I could get it up to a 9.
Oh, easily.
Maybe even a 10.
We could probably get this thing up to a 10. Just make it somehow more adjustable. But again, just DIYing it.
9 hours.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? If we would have spent another 9 hours on this thing, really polishing up, filling the gaps with wood dough, I think we could get it to a 10.
Yeah.
But
And speaking
again,
of,
that's time.
let's talk. I mean, if I were going to do this again, I would make those cool little triangles here. I would close in the front, perhaps. I would get a little angle here to make it easier to get in and out of, and a little less rough around the edges.
One of the things that now my idea was to have this upright coming at an angle.
We kind of fought about that topic.
Yeah, we actually had a little argument, and I wanted the main upright to come at an angle and then have a short, straight upright. And Sean was convinced it wasn't going to be stable enough that way. He was even convinced that this wasn't going to be stable. And this thing is, like I said, built like a tank. It's not going anywhere. So I still like it the way it is, because I was concerned about not being able to get in and out of it. But it's not a concern at all. It's easy to get in and out of. So yeah, that's one of the things we would have changed. We would have changed the finish on it.
Yeah.
Spent more time on that. We would have removed the seat.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons.
Painting.
One to install and one to paint. Yeah, because we still have some spots here that aren't painted because we just didn't want to paint up the seat. And then the other thing is we were concerned about installing it and the rigidity. We talked about that in the install. After we talked about it, I'm like, dude, we could have just drawn around the rails and then taken it off and it would have worked. But anyway, so we learned from it. And it's not like we're rig builders here.
No, or first time rig builder.
No, second.
Okay, you're right.
Actually, you built your own rig too, kind of.
Never quite this route, but yeah.
Yeah, yours was not wood. Okay, so there you have it. The Deathmobile. Somebody locally, if you want it, if you so choose, to come and pick this up, we're going to give it away. Seat not included. We're going to take this seat off. And the reason why is because we're going to use this seat for future builds. And again, for $25, $50, $100, whatever, you can have a seat just like this or get something from the junkyard. But first person that emails us locally that can come pick this rig up in Simi Valley, California, and emails us at info@InsideSimRacing.tv, it's all yours. So get a hold of us. You come and hang out in the studio for a little bit, test out the Stormtrooper back here, whatever else you want here at the studio, and come pick up the Deathmobile. And Sean, anything else before we go?
No, it was so much fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. We're going to do it again, and I'm already looking forward to
The
that.
next one's what? PVC?
PVC, I think.
We're doing the PVC rig.
I know nothing about PVC, by the way.
Simulator. I do. I've done some sprinkler work in some yards that I've had. And even as a kid, my dad had me doing sprinkler PVC. So I've worked with my fair share of PVC. Never this size, but it's the same thing. It's just going to go together. Someone actually told us that we can get a heat gun and heat that stuff up and bend it.
Yeah.
So
We'll use
that's going to be our next rig. And then after that, we got plans to build another wood rig. Someone was saying, oh, that rig's ugly on our Facebook. Look at this one, so much nicer. Well, our next wood rig is going to be a lot nicer. It's going to be a lot more time, going to be more money into it.
Well, and if you look at the heart of this is mainly 2x4, and the motivation here was stuff that we had here around. I mean, honestly, we only needed 2x4s to complete the whole job, so this was really a scrap wood project.
Yep. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we did, and hope you enjoyed this piece, and hope some of you out there make a Deathmobile of your own, and send us some pictures, and we'll put them on the show, and we'd like to see them in our forums. And let's see what kind of Deathmobile you can come up with, or, hey, whatever kind of rig you can come up with. And if you can't build a rig like this, visit one of our sponsors, R-Seed or GT Omega. They got some great rigs. And
that's the thing. Building a rig isn't for everybody. It took us a lot of time. Not everybody wants to dedicate an entire day to a project like this.
Or has the tools. And honestly, I'm not that great with working with wood. And I can do a little bit of it. And Sean, those are all Sean's tools. And I could do it, but Sean is definitely much better at working with wood and that type of stuff than I am. So it was a little out of my league. I built my own, but I had the help of Terry last time too, and with his tools. So that's going to wrap it up. I'm Darren Ganji.
Sean Cole.
Hope you've enjoyed this first DIY rig build of ours, and there's going to be more like we said, and we'll see you next time. You gonna keep that piece of profile on there?
No, I'm fixing to remove the...
He's fixing to remove that.
Did I miss that?
I think someone's calling me out. That was a burnout right next to my Camaro.